So today I'm going to show you how I'm fitting lens covers onto a recessed opening like this. So these came pre-formed. If you look up my YouTube video, I believe it's episode 14 under How Is That Street Legal on YouTube. I show how I form, not these ones came supplied to me, but I show how I formed ones for my 206 SP. And it's very similar shape to this. So if you look at that video, you'll see kind of how I get a shape like this. So to trim this, because obviously it's too big, so what I do is I would peel back the protective layer so that you can see through it a little bit, and then simply take a felt pen, fit it to generally where it wants to live, and you can tape it down if you need to, and then just simply trace along where it's going to fit in the recess. So once you have it traced, you can see here, so I've traced it around, and then I've actually run tape around it, kind of a thin 5/8 tape around, and then just covered it, essentially just so it doesn't scratch or anything. And then obviously I can cut along right around my yellow line there. So I'm going to use my little bandsaw to cut this. I've got a 10 tooth per inch blade on there, so you want to use a 10 or a 12 tooth per inch blade. Using a blade that's too aggressive will certainly risk cracking your plastic. Another thing is I have taped off the face here because I'm going to be cutting like this to try and keep the plastic as close to the table as I can. If I were to cut this way with the plastic slightly off the table as I go around, again, I most certainly am risking a crack or a split in my piece. It'll ruin it. Another thing is about a bandsaw, the blade moves in a single direction as it goes around. I don't want to use a jigsaw or a multi-tool where the blade is going up and down, because again, no matter how slowly you move, the plastic will get warm, and as that blade's going up and down, up and down, up and down, you're doubling your risk for a split to happen, or a crack, or a hairline fracture, or something that will turn into a large crack and inevitably ruin your piece. So here's our first cut. So it's not going to fit perfectly, but it's pretty close. So there's a little bit that I need to trim off around it, maybe 1/8 of an inch or so around one side. So what I'm going to do is put it on there, kind of line it up around in different spots, see where it looks nice to start with. And then, so I think I'm going to line up this top edge here, and then I'll trim this edge here. So what I'll do is line it up nicely. And then there's areas to make it fit nicely along this area here first. I'll probably take a palm sander or a little belt sander and shape it just a little bit to make this side look really good before I start tracing this side again. So it's starting to fit pretty good on the one side there. Now, one thing I'm going to do to make this fit really nicely is right here. It's not just a harsh, crisp edge. There's a slight ease to that edge there. So what I'm going to do is match that by giving the back side of this just a little bevel to kind of match that small radius right there. Okay, now I take a fine tip marker and just kind of eyeball where it needs to be trimmed a hair more. Now we'll check our fitment again. Line up that leading edge that we know is good. Then we check this one. So now I'm going to hand sand this, and I'm going to lightly break that edge so it's not sharp. And then obviously I'll round and kind of clean up this edge. And then one final check. It fits amazing. And now I need to figure out the locations for my bolt holes. So I've peeled back some of my tape so I can see what I'm doing now. And then I'm going to mark, I'm going to look directly over the hole. And I'm going to just mark with a felt marker right in the center. So to drill the holes, I'm going to use just a pilot bit, a twist bit, and then to actually get the holes up to size, I'm going to use a step bit. I find that a twist bit like this in plastic will start drilling nicely, but as the plastic gets warm, it'll grab and pull itself through, and again, risks cracking it, whereas a step bit doesn't risk any cracks or any damage. So, and then again, I'm going to put it on a block here so I have a backer when I do my pilot hole. These are the screws that I'll be using. So I want to make sure I drill my holes bigger than those, obviously. And now we'll see how it fits. Perfect.